you can rationalize a lot of this stuff and create a lot of mental models and reasons for pro and con, but it comes down a lot to temperament and what type of stuff do you like. The benefit, I think I think the basics of remote work, managing are harder than the basics of in-person managing, because there is a very low cost to a marginal piece of communication on in-person. I just go to your desk, tap on your shoulder. This thing you just said, Brian, I just didn't. Could you repeat? And then I go back, get a yogurt in the micro kitchen, go back. I thought I got it. I'm so sorry. Can you tell me again? You know what I mean? It's okay. You can kind of get it done. You can not be a great communicator, not be a great manager, and kind of somewhat hobble along because there's like infinite micro interactions, right? If you're a shitty manager in a remote setting, I think you ruin the company. If nothing will get done. And so I do think there's a higher bar from like minimally acceptable managerial, competence, whatever you want to call it. I do think, however, that if you are a great manager, a great remote manager, I think the best managing that can happen will happen remote. And I think the reason is that to be a good remote manager, you have to have basically you have to run the organization somewhat async. I for one, I'm not a big fan of all this like we're remote, but let's all be together virtually. Now, I don't see that as a thing. I see it as you really compress and the amount of times that you're in sync, doing phone calls or seeing each other in person, and try to make it very high quality. And a lot of it happens async. So you're forced now to write documents and have people comment on documents, and you have to effectively take advantage of the setup. You have different time zones and so forth, and you have to make the best out of it. And the best out of it is just to write documentation. And to write documentation, you're forced to make your thinking clear so it can come out in words. And writing and words can be, if you don't know, if you think you know what you're thinking, and then you sit down to write and it doesn't come out, and you're like, I don't know how to write. No, really, what happens is that you haven't thought about it clearly enough. So you have the specter, the silhouette of an idea, and you think you have an idea, but you don't have. And so it forces you to be clear in your mind. And it forces you to be a clear communicator. And so what happens if you're good at that is that a lot of the BS of people management goes away. A lot of it is, I thought you said, you made me feel, you looked at me, it's all of that. Whereas if you're forced to think deeply about what you want from someone else, and you have to write it, and you give them time to think it through, right? 4 hours to look at a document dispassionately and criticize you and find holes and ask questions, and you have to respond to that. Generally, that time up front that you paid deciding what to do, you get paid back amply by just getting done the thing you have to get done. So, I think it's like temperamental for one, and I think it's each has their own benefits and disadvantages. The way I see it, right, is if you're running an organization async, you have to run the whole organization async. And so you have to change how you do in person. So if you have a hybrid organization, you have to rethink how you do in person, what the purpose of that is. Because if you're like, some stuff happens async and sometimes happen, word of mouth, tapping someone's shoulder, then you don't know where truth is and information. And that just goes to hell. So if you're going to you have to figure out, like, it's less about remote and not remote. It's to figure out if it's like an async organization or real-time organization. If you're going to do real-time organization, then in-person is much better, but you can make it work remote. If you're going to do an async, then remote is much better, but you can do it in person as well. And I've heard these stories, I'm sure you have too, of Amazon, where people are forced to write these documents and read them at the beginning of every meeting. That's effectively async in person, right? And so I think it's more about async and sync, and then how to adjust. And then the other piece is temperament. Right? Some people thrive in person, charming, motivating, running the troops. They stay late, have pizza, drink beer. And some people are like, I just want to think deeply about what I'm going to do, and I want to be told very clearly what I should be doing. And I'm less good with like all the emotional dynamics of kind of office space. And so you set it up to wherever makes you happier, I think.